Alright, got something different here. My first lighter of this type. I don't know how you pronounce that, whether it's Maruman or, I don't know, Baroque. As you can see, GL-57. I rebuilt this lighter. I didn't get it on film because I've actually had this thing videotaped like 3 times. I messed up every time because every time I went to zoom in, I hit the standby button on my new camera here, and I didn't know, and I wasn't paying attention, so I've ruined about 2 or 3 videos. So I'm going to be careful this time when I do it. But this is a nice lighter, and I'll tell you another thing too. Just your standard lighter, straight flame, standard vertical flame, I should say. This is really a nice shape. Does have some initials on it, like 3 initials that says from, and then 3 initials who this lighter's to. Also has a date on it that says Munich 73. So here we have a lighter. It's good 48 years old, and about as new as that I've ever seen, you know. But I'm going to go over how to repair this lighter. This is I actually thought when I got this, thought, boy, this is probably going to be a bear to repair. But I'll be honest with you, this is probably one of the simplest lighters out there to repair. Get them apart is easy. It did have a leaky fill valve in it. I did repair that. I'm not going to show you how to do it, but the seal was still good. When I took the valve out and took it apart, it's got a real funny seal on the inside that you're just not going to find. You're probably going to have to make one. But the seal was good. I just lubricated it up and everything was good. So that's as far as I'm going on that. Alright. I'm going to evacuate any butane in this lighter. Alright. Now, it ain't going to hurt to, not going to hurt to unscrew this, take the flint out. Alright, there's that. That seems to hold in there too, so too much worried about that. The nice thing about the filler cap, it does have a little rubber seal on the back, so you can just put this on with fingernail tight. You don't have to worry about it vibrating off. Now, just so you'll know, right here where the serrated edge is right here, you have to unscrew that. Okay, so I'm going to get my big ones out here just to unloosen it. Okay, and I'll get my smaller ones here. Now once you unscrew this bottom part right here is going to start getting loose like it is now. So you ain't going to want to hold that down tight. You're going to want to let this thing move, because this actually, I'll show you how that screws into in a minute here. As soon as I get that off. So let it fall down so you can keep sometimes a little easier said than done, but now you know what, let me get my screwdriver here. Might be There we go. This just pops out the bottom. Okay, you see this part right here that I had to unscrew? It just kind of pops out. Alright. Basically, this part here just screws on this little threaded part right here on your valve. Okay. So that's what holds your tank in. Alright. That's it on that. There's no need to disassemble any further unless you need to clean up your Flint wheel on this, which if that's the case, you can probably just take out this screw right here and it looks to be, yeah, I'm thinking you just take this screw out here and possibly, let me look in here. There could be a little nut in there on the bottom of this. That what probably happens here is that bolt, that little screw right there, probably goes all the way down into the bottom here. I don't take that off because mine's in good shape, so top. Alright. Right there. One on the right hand side on top. That's be the one you'd have to unscrew. Okay. Anyway, now as far as this goes, it's really simple. The only thing you got here is your flame adjustment screw. Trying to be careful so I don't scratch this up. And it's got one seal on it. Okay. What I used for that seal, for O-rings and more, I use this right here. You type this in 00270 Duro, and this O-ring should pop up. Okay. I can't remember the exact size on that, but that's what you'd type in for that seal there for your flame adjustment. Alright, now the only thing it's in here is your sponge. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's a sponge down there. That's the only thing that's in there. Alright. So once you get the old sponge out and get it cleaned in there and cut your other one to size, I can't think of what it is. I think you need 3mm. Now just cut a 3mm sponge. I showed you where to get my sponges out of new butane disposable lighters. And you get you a hole set punch, you know, a leather hole punch set from eBay like these here, in millimeter sizes, and get you, you know, after you got your sponge out, you know, you gotta put it on a book and you're gonna take the hole punch and you're gonna hammer it down and cut your sponge to size. Okay. Then, so say I got that done, and I just got the O-ring changed, so I'm going to put this back in there, because that bottom will be done once you get that, what I explained to you. Alright, now as far as the top part goes here, what you're going to do is just gently squeeze that and just unscrew this. Alright, and pull that out. Now there is inside of this a little bitty spring. You can probably see it down in there. Don't lose that, you won't be able to replace it. Let me focus in on this a little bit. All right, now this stopper was good. It says lighter hadn't seen much use, and there's a little seal here. What that seal does is when your valve is open, it presses against the top here and keeps gas from coming out around the edge of the tube here. Okay, because gas, when you open this up, now let me show you this first. See if I can get you to focus. See a little hole down in there? Okay, that little orifice hole right there. That's what this here stopper right here plugs up. Okay, and the little spring forces this valve up when you open the lighter lid. Gas travels around this seal through these two holes right here, one on each side, and right up and down this tube. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to need the old sponge. You're going to have to come through this way here, and you're going to have to try to get that out of there. Now, what I use to get them out is I got online and got some of these high strength steel rods. This is a rod. It's not a wire, it's a rod. Okay? And it's a 1/2 millimeter. I poke it down in that hole. It's inside here. Knock that filter out. Then clean everything up. Now, see this? I bent this and this broke. These will break. These are not wires. When you bend them, they'll break. That's why they're a rod. They're steel rods, just very small. Got them off eBay. These are handy for this particular type of work. Not on just this lighter, but any lighter's got the same design. I am Corona coming out of I am Corona and other lighters. Okay, so okay, now once you get that out, you know, and if you need to get these seals right here for this, what you can do, let me see if I got one here. I usually try to save one back for showing people where to get these valves at. You got to get them out of a disposable lighter. There's the valve out of the disposable lighter. Okay, you're gonna get a disposable lighter and you unscrew it. You get the little valve out of there and you pull that apart. You're gonna pull. You know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Disposable lighter. All right. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can get this in here and tear that, twist that off. Save your flints, folks. I don't save my springs that's in there because once you get past the saving a bunch like I have, there's no sense in saving them. I mean, once you got 100 and you only use one once in a while, there's just no sense in saving them all. But you can if you want, because there's no sense in throwing anything away if you don't need to. Okay, then I'll unscrew this. This is the valve I get the little stoppers out of. Okay, once that opens up, gonna drain the butane out of it. Don't worry too much about that. That'll eventually evaporate. Right there's that valve. The whole valve. Now let me zoom in, back in here. Now, save these O-rings here, people. They'll come in handy. Try to take them off without damaging them. You know, then you're gonna pull this part off. Oops. Now there's what popped out of that. There's what popped out of that. Right there. Okay. Now, if you don't get a little O-ring off of here with this spring, that's probably inside the cap here. Alright. But this, save that little O-ring and that spring. There's that little stopper right there. Alright. Now I get various different types of lighters when you're disassembling these, because some of them stoppers are vary a little bit in size. Okay, so anyway, that's where you're going to get the parts. Alright. Now you see this here. Some of these are brass. This one here isn't, and it's got slots on each side. Some of these are brass right here, and they got holes. Maybe have one hole, or maybe have a hole on each side. Keep that in mind, because I'm going to show you something here in a little bit. This is what I use, but I got to have the brass ones with just a hole in it. I throw them away. Anyway, always save your flints. Okay, so now that you got everything so-called fixed and ready to reinstall, put the spring in first. And put that in. Screw it down hand tight. And there's a little flat side on these here. That's where I grip them with the pliers here. And just snug. It don't have to be tight, people. Alright, now what I'll do is I'll fill this up and we'll go from there on doing the test. What I found out what uses for this is this type of nozzle right here. Alright, that's what I use. Now alright, let me zoom back out here a little bit. There we go. Get a little lighter here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little flame on there. Alright, there we go. Works great. This is really simple, folks. And when you press down on this, you shouldn't have to press down very hard at all, and that stopper shuts that gas off. It's like I did there. Alright, from that point you're done. It's just reassembling. Another thing too is when you're putting this back, this has got to be, it's got to be just like I show you here. That little knurled surface area right here has to be inside this smooth channel here. Alright, otherwise it won't tighten up. Let me get her started here. There we go. You know, it doesn't, it's getting tight, but not quite tight enough. I usually use these. Okay. That's good right there. Alright. Now let's put a flint back in there. Alright. Now, here we go. Remember I had you keep in mind about that little valve inside that pipe or that disposable lighter. You know, I fix a lot of pipe lighters and I modify lighters and stuff sometimes. If you got a lighter like this, you thought, man, I'd like to make it a pipe lighter. Well, I'll tell you what I did. I got one of them little valves like this. Here's what they're going to look like. Let me show you here first. This one's brass. This one's brass, but it's got one hole. Okay, I got this out of a disposable lighter. This is the one you want to use, but I don't know which type of disposable lighter this came out of. Alright, that's what I used. You see how it looks? I shaved it. I cut that off right here at this recessed area. I soldered the end of it, and I took a drill and drilled the boarded out, soldered the end of it, and now, see that? And what I do, I just stuck that over this. I don't know if I can find out which way. Here we go. And now I got a pipe lighter. And this does work. Shut off mechanism still works. Got shut. I tell you what the deal is on this is I counter bored that up a little higher than normal, and the valve that's in here is kind of going up about halfway inside the pipe hole. That's why I got some pressure. Once I knocked that down, it knocked that piece of brass down on this pipe a little bit. But nevertheless, works good. Turn the light out here. That's an extended high flame. You don't need that. Alright guys, simplest fix I think I've done in quite a while. Maruman, Baroque, GL-57, made in Japan. You see these lighters on eBay. Sometimes they show up and they're pretty cashy, but I wouldn't pay $100 for one myself. You know, I would, if I was going to have to pay $100, $150, to be honest with you, do yourself a favor and go get an old boy. The reason I say that is because the old boy, this holds about 1.5 grams of butane. You've seen the tank in here. Old boy hold about 3.3, so you know it's a little. The old boy being a little thinner and a little bit taller. Okay, and I think it's a little. I think the mechanism maybe a little bit easier to handle on an old boy. I don't know, this ain't too bad if you hold it down like that while you're striking. It ain't too bad, but if you don't, this lighter would be more comfortable if it was about 2 inches longer, see, because you don't have much area to hold on to it when you're striking it. It's not bad. I got big hands though too, well, mediocre hands. Well, there you go, guys. That's it.